Test 15 topics, lesson 65, writing equations of parallel and perpendicular lines. In starting this lesson, it's important to remember that parallel lines have equal slopes and perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. By opposite, we mean that their signs are opposite. By reciprocals, we mean that they flip. So like 1/2 and 2/1 are reciprocals. In our first problem, we are determining if the equations represent lines that are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. The easiest way to do this is to determine their slopes and then decide if their slopes are equal, opposite reciprocal, or neither. So remember that y equals mx plus b is slope-intercept form where m is the slope. So for this first line, y equals 2/3 x plus 5 1/3, we know that 2/3 is the slope. For this other line, we need to identify the slope. So we're going to need to turn it into y equals mx plus b. So we have 3/2 x plus y equals 1. We subtract 3/2 from both sides, 3/2 x. Those cancel. These are not like terms on the right side, so I just write them. I usually like to write the x term first. That leaves me with y equals -3/2 x plus 1. The slope of it is -3/2. So now I compare the slope of the first line, which was 2/3, to the slope of this new line, which is -3/2. I see that one's positive and one's negative, so they're opposite. I see that one has 2/3 and the other one has 3/2, so they are reciprocal, meaning that they are perpendicular. In this next problem, we're determining the same thing. The difference is we're not given the equations of the lines, but rather the points that the lines go through, which means we have to remember the slope formula. So we're going to have to calculate the slopes. The slope formula is m, which is slope, equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we're going to do this for line 1. We pick a y value minus the other y value, and then we use the x value of the first y value, so that's -2, minus the other x value, so 2, and I get these two negatives turn into plus, so I get 6 over -4, which reduces to -3/2. So I just pulled the negative out front. Now we're going to do the same thing for line 2. M, we pick a y value to go first, so 6, minus the other y value, so 3. We used 6 as our first y value, so we must use its x value, so 3 as our first x value, minus the other one, which is 5. This is 3 over -2, so usually we can just pull that negative out front. Now I need to determine if these are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So I look at the two slopes, I see that they are both negative and they are both 3/2, so they're the same. So they are parallel.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.